Okay, we had a blackout here, very strategic. Then it put out the Wi-Fi for a while. So I almost lost the last live broadcast. But I knew from my past dealings that if I just waited until the Wi-Fi came back on, what I had done would not be lost and just wiped out. So, Foxy, you can't go out there. Don't even go. You can't go out there. No, 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 no. Foxy likes to escape when I open the door. He likes to make his little getaway from here. Who can blame him, right? Who can blame him? It's not easy for him either, being stuck in here all the time, being stuck inside this door. We used to do a lot of walking, We weren't lazy bums. We did a lot of walking, and I worry sometimes about my legs atrophying from all of the lack of space and self-discipline that I don't have the self-discipline to do the exercising that I could be doing even in here. I've never enjoyed just doing calisthenics. I have always preferred to do walking to calisthenics. I want to be sure that none of my body can be aimed at from this open door, but I'm not going to be able to do a very good job at that. I'm not going to be able to do a very good job while that door is open and I'm sitting here of protecting myself. So I can only hope that they don't succeed in shooting at me here. Okay, so I told you about the first dream, where I'm in a JCC kind of a facility, and I've got all the people conspiring to prevent me from using the bathroom there. They're conspiring to exclude me. This is still dangerous here. This is still a dangerous place where I am. I know this from experience from being attacked in the past by these people, that if I leave any part of my body open to them, it's a vector for attack. So the first dream pretty much let me know that when I leave here, I won't be leaving my enemies. That just like they got me out there before, they can get me out there again. So I am pretty sure that the plan is not for me to leave that way. That will not be the plan for getting out of here. That will not be the plan. That when I leave here, it will be an exodus. It will be an official evacuation. It'll be an official evacuation. Okay. So, the second dream, I'm in a Japanese empress's garden, walking around and seeing all these aquatic creatures, and it's just delightful. I'm having a wonderful, delightful time. Foxy and I are feeling free and happy, and we're rejoicing in our ability to be outside and in nature again. But suddenly a bird appears, different from all the others. It has the colors of a peacock, of a male peacock's feathers. It's got those kind of colors. And it's very big. It's big. And it just seems to appear almost out of nowhere. And it comes closer to me, and I reach out to touch it because it looks like the feathers are made of metal and not anything feathery. And as this peacock, beautiful bird, gets close to me and I reach out to touch it, it starts to talk. And it says hello, and it calls me by the name my mother gave me. And that'll be the second time and the second dream where my given name, my government name, the name my mother gave me, is used. So I'm feeling that I'm dealing with people that are military, government, European. In fact, if you know the voice of that woman on Democracy Now!, it was a voice very much like her voice. Very much like the voice of the Democracy Now! Woman. So I didn't know. I thought, well, maybe it's one of the good ETs. But I don't know if it was or not, because shortly after that I awakened. When it called me by my name, I awakened. And it was after 4 o'clock, so the meetings were over. I think it was 4:08 my time. It's like 7:38 here now. So it's about 4:08 my time when that particular dream event happened, where an animal that looks like a peacock was calling me by my name. And I found it alarming. And that bird was more ornate than any of the other creatures, although they were all in beautiful, brilliant Technicolor. Beautiful Technicolor. Okay. So the Wi-Fi went out on the last broadcast. I do not think it was an accident. I think it was these enemies at this concentration camp who interfered with my camera earlier. I think it was them, trying to knock my transmission out, because it's very hard for me to repeat things I said. I don't like duplicating my broadcasts. It's just too difficult for me to do like that. So I've got my door open to try to get the fibers out of my room and the gases that have been collecting in the back of my throat, and Foxy's too. We've had some trouble with that the past day or so. So sorry, everything is so precariously placed in this little room that it's sort of falling around here. Oh, I'm getting such a headache. I don't know if they're pumping gases in or using rays on the computer, but I am getting a headache. And I have been getting very tired, very, very tired. But today I spent a lot of the day having meetings in the sleep space about the evacuation. And I'm going to call it the evacuation because of the last dream I had and the dream I had earlier in the day, the dreams that actually addressed the problem of Exodus. Well, they both used my government name. And in this society, there is no future for an heiress of America. The Europeans are all supporting the Ukrainians, although they know the Ukrainians are creating bioweapons to use against them. How stupid is that? If you know that you've got enemies who are working their way over to you, they're already digging deep into the Europeans. They're already digging deep into the Europeans and their economic security. But we're still going to have these people saying that they want to fight and have battles. We're still finding them saying that that's what they want. It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, why would you work against your own interests like that? Why would you work so hard against your own best interests? Okay, so now we can kind of get into the topic. Well, that'll be a nice segue into the topic of Europeans as an exopolitical problem. As the diplomatic exopoliticians stepping up begin to consider the issues of concern to the refugees of Earth, we can't forget our past and our past problems. We can't forget our enemies. We can't forget the world that we have here. Now, I could spend my time analyzing the things that are happening here. And I could spend my time responding to the things like the student protests and the placement of the warships and jets. I could be talking about that. But that's the present. That's the life that's here. And most of those reporters are not taking into account that everything happening here is part of a larger dynamic, the dynamic of the bad ETs being driven out of here. So we could look at things on the surface and say, oh, this is what's happening, that's what's happening. But it's not going to prepare us for what's coming. It's not going to prepare us for what's coming. And what's coming for me and my people is leaving the earth on a ship called the America. And we are the Earthian refugees. But the America will also have a crew of seasoned people who already work with Star Trek, people who came here to help identify who's going to leave and help us leave. And then we're all leaving together. So those are the people that are really in the audience that I'm addressing now. The people that are going to be left here on Earth, they might be, what they're going to see is they're going to see an ET offensive. That's what we've been told by Harvey and Farsight. We've been told that what is coming next on this planet is a hot war between the good ETs and the bad ETs. So the placements of ships that you hear about have a lot more to do with the Earthians that are going to be helping the bad ETs, the ones that have been helping them throughout, than they have to do with the people that are making the exodus, the people that are leaving with me. So today was a big day in terms of meetings and in terms of dreams that say, there's no way I'm going to be able to survive a trip by car to a new destination, and no destination is going to be safe here for me. So if I am to go on, I go on off this planet. So what's happening on this planet is captivating and worthy of response, but it has nothing to do with me. What does have to do with me is who's leaving and what their attitudes are and where their minds are, and the fear among my people of Europeans being a part of it, and the simultaneous desire we have for Europeans to continue on with us. So the European problem is very interesting. I use that word, the European problem, because the Europeans used to publish articles called the Negro problem. And then when they were trying to get everybody to accept the Jews and take on the Jews from World War II, they published the Jew problem. So this idea of isolating a group by its race or ethnicity and then putting problem after it is American literary tradition that I'm following. following the tradition of saying we have a European problem where we do not want to travel with the Europeans the way they are. That we really want the good ETs to be extremely careful about doing psychological and DNA testing to make sure that none of the bad Europeans get to leave here, because they will kill us. It might take them generations, but once they have enough people, and once they've developed and collected enough weapons, they're going to revert to their natural selves and try to kill everyone and take their stuff. It's like an eternal toddler mindset. You know, everything is mine, everything is mine. I don't think all toddlers are like that, but my psychopath brothers sure were. And I believe my mother had seen other children that acted like that. So maybe we all reach this very ego-intensive stage. So, as we consider the issues that we exopoliticians need to bring up and discuss, European nationalist racism is one of the areas that we are going to have to take a very honest look at and make sure that we eradicate that kind of stuff, that kind of thinking. Because as we Earthians move out into a multicultural, multidimensional, multiracial, multi-ethnic, multiverse, we want to be sure that we've gotten rid of any inclinations to hate and rob and murder based on race. In an ideal world, you don't have to do any of that at all, ever. But we're not living in an ideal world. We're living in a world where the bad ETs are being led to turn Earthians into slaves and victims. And the good ETs chasing the criminals, the Nazis across the galaxies, chasing them to us here on the outskirts of creation. They found people worth saving. People worth saving here. Now, I wish that you could all see that beautiful pond, that beautiful, concrete river. It was surrounded by concrete, but it was still a river. And all the flowers and all the trees and all the creatures in that water, because they were as brilliant as jewels, as brilliant as gemstones. And it was such a symbol of the upcoming freedom. The upcoming freedom. And Foxy was right there with me, ready to enjoy our upcoming freedom.